Okay, now we're getting into some real programming. We're going to use functions all over the place in Python, and functions are much more useful if we can send data to them to do various things. So, a function might contain some code that does a particular task, but it'll do it differently or it'll do it for different data. And so you don't have to repeat typing the function over and over again. You just call the function with different data when you need it to do that thing. So I have a very simple program here illustrating a setup for passing data to a function and getting it to do something with it. So down below, we'll go from bottom up. I call the main. Up here, we define the main. Sort of traditional, define the main as the last function in the program. May seem counterintuitive in some cases, but that's usually how it's done. So we have just a simple print statement, hello world, okay? Now, instead of printing something else like how are you, I'm calling a function and the function's name is tellme, tell_me. And now in between the parentheses, I have some data. The data is just a simple bit of text called how are you? Okay, so I want to pass that text. I want it to be used by the tellme function. So to define the tellme function to receive data, you put the def tellme, and then in the parentheses, you put a variable name to receive the data sent from this call of the function. So I call the variable p_message just to help me keep track of things. You don't have to do it that way, but p means parameter to me. And the data variables you define inside a function, whether you're going to receive one thing or more than one thing, they're all called parameters. So I just do that and it helps me keep track. You're not required to do it if you don't need that. So it gets the data there, and then we have a print statement within the tellme function that prints whatever was sent in p_message. So this variable name that's defined up here can be used anywhere in this function. Can't be used outside the function. No other function will know what p_message is, but once tellme is called and data is sent to it, that p_message is a parameter variable that I can use within the code of the function. Now, obviously, this is super simple. I just have one line of code in the function doing stuff, but you could have thousands of lines of code if that made sense to do so. So just some terminology. I mentioned this is called a parameter, and you could have more than one parameter. The data that you send, it's easy to just say data item, but the formal term is an argument. And that term argument comes from mathematics. So it's a little bit counterintuitive or it's a little bit strange to call data an argument, but you will hear that term. So I'd like you to know. So we pass the data as an argument to the parameter and it moves on. It's almost as if I said P up here, tell me p_message equals how are you? Because that's essentially what happens. The data gets sent over there and it gets assigned to p_message and then used by the print statement. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure this all works. It did. Hello world, how are you? So we got pretty much what we were expecting. So I'd like to show you an example, another simple one, where we pass more than one piece of data. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up. And let's look at the changes. Still calling a main, still the main doesn't receive data. You never have the main receive data. Print hello world. And now we're going to call the tellme function up there, and I'm going to pass two data items or two arguments. So the first one is Steve, and then I put a comma for the second piece of data or argument, how are you? So we get up to the tellme. Now I've defined tellme differently. I said tellme, and in parentheses, I have p_name, comma, p_message. Parameter name for variable, parameter name for a message or p_message. And then in the code, I'm getting real complicated here. I have two lines instead of one. I'm formatting another string that I just called my message, and it equals the word hi with a space plus the p_name, whatever was passed. In this case, it was Steve that was passed, plus, and I want another space, so I can just do this. I can do double quote, space, double quote, or I can do single quote, space, single quote. Either would work as long as they're consistent. And then plus p message. So I wanted to say, hi, Steve, how are you? I put that message together. And then I'm going to print what's in my message. I'm not printing directly what was up in here. So we should get a friendly little message if we run this. Let's go ahead and try that. So we'll try running it. And we have, hello world, hi Steve, how are you? So it looks like it did what was expected. 2 arguments, 2 pieces of data were passed to a function that was expecting to receive 2 pieces of data. It's real important to keep that consistent. Don't send that when you define a function to receive data. If you say you're going to receive 2 parameters, always send it 2 parameters. Don't send it just 1, and don't send it 3. It has to be 2 and exactly 2. You may get an error message. All right, so that's the very basics of passing data to a function and making use of it in its code. Let me know if you have any questions.